With halachot, now we're in Siman Resh Mem Zayin that has to do with michtavim on Shabbat, which means using the postal service or sending letters on Shabbat. So first I'll just mention what it was, the halacha, right, we were before nowadays that we have a very professional postal service. So we'll bring down like this. Maran actually brings down, you're allowed to send a letter in the hand of a goy on Yom Shishi on Friday, even if you know that he's not going to be able to have time to give it before the Shabbat, as long as you're kovea the schar, which means you fix a set price for the package or for whatever it is that you're sending this letter, right? That in such a way that you're doing it, the goy is going on the Shabbat, al dat that he's doing it just to do it very quickly to finish his milacha in order to come and to take a reward. Now, even if the goy is coming on his own, right, and he tells you befirush that he's going on the Shabbat, you could be mekel as long as you already fixed the price. But you're not allowed to specifically tell him to go on Shabbat. So for example, you come and you give him the letter. It's Friday morning. You know that in order for him to get to wherever it is, obviously he's traveling on the Shabbat. But you're not telling him to travel on the Shabbat. Now he's going to come and travel on the Shabbat to get it earlier. You didn't fix the date of when is it going to arrive. Right? We're not talking about UPS or this. You have a guaranteed postage date. You just come, I'm sending a letter. Now the goy comes, he's traveling on the Shabbat in order to get to that destination. Now why is he doing it? The quicker he gets there, what he's going to get is a reward. At the end of the day, it's mutar. I didn't tell him explicitly to travel on Shabbat. Even if he comes and he tells me that he's traveling on the Shabbat, I don't have to tell him anything. He's doing whatever he wants on his own accord, and it's going to be permitted. That is going to be if you actually fix schar. If you do not fix the schar, which means you do not actually have, right, that you don't have a fixed price for it, then it's going to be a little bit worse, because then it could only be if he's going to get there before the Shabbat. But if not, so now it's going to be a problem. The same halacha would actually apply to do with different utensils. And now we're going to go to bizmanenu. Nowadays we actually have a fixed postal service. So how do you do it today? So he says like this: Bimkol shovdei chevrat hadoar hem goyim. Let's say they're goyim, like it is here in America. So therefore you're allowed to place, and you're allowed to place a letter inside of Tevador in Shabbat, even if you know for a certain fact that they're going to come and they're going to take it right by the Shabbat or on the Shabbat in order to start sending it. And you're allowed to do it even samuch liknisata Shabbat. You're allowed to do that even close to the entrance of the onset of the Shabbat. So mamash, right before Shabbat, you go to the post office and you're going to put in a letter there. There's no problem whatsoever. V'chen mutar limsor igeret o lishloach hafatzim b'erev Shabbat bedor mahir. You're allowed to send it an express service on Erev Shabbat, or for example, UPS, the DHL, right, FedEx, all these other companies. Even if you're going to send it very, very far away. For example, from one country to another country, and according to they have to actually come and they have to start going right away in order to get there. And for sure they're probably going to go right on the Shabbat. But here, you're allowed to actually come and you're allowed to do it for different reasons. He actually goes into the reasons later on, where he goes into all the different reasons why they're allowed to do such a thing. Nevertheless, he says if it's going to be a place where they're going to be Jews, so therefore then it's going to be a completely different, right, that you're going to have a much more a problem than en la kel klal. He says it's only if it's going to be that there's no Jews, and therefore the ones that are doing all these things are non-Jews, then it's going to be permitted. But if it's going to be that it's going to be Jews involved, then it's going to be prohibited. Obviously in the footnote he's going to go through many different reasons why exactly is that permitted, but that's the halacha, what is actually brought down, that nowadays you're allowed to come and you're allowed to send, so whether it's going to be through a regular post office or even through an express service, you're allowed to send different letters as well.